What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another live stream. I appreciate everybody for coming in and hanging out again. How's everyone feeling today? And also, how's my volume sound? Make sure everything sounds good. So, first of all, before I actually get started, I want to address something because somebody posted a clip of my latest video on X without any context, and it's getting a lot of people saying that that I'm basically making stuff up. It sound like about the KEF being contacted by Binance for help reinstating the accounts that are getting deleted. But I want to address it. I know you guys probably actually saw my full-length YouTube video, but some people on X apparently didn't see it, and they just saw a little clip of me saying that KEF was basically the Binance reached out to KEF, Junie in particular, and asked for help to reinstate accounts, and they basically said, no, we can't do that because it's decentralized. The community is going to do what the community does. And I just want to basically say that I didn't just make stuff up out of the middle of nowhere. He literally said it himself on a blockchain banter. And so I was just referring to that in what I was saying. I'm basically just repeating what came out of his mouth. And so, yeah, I guess we have to take his word for it in that scenario. But as far as I go, I'm just repeating what he said. So, and I thought it was interesting that if that's true, then it is making a difference and an impact potentially on Binance. So whoever that was, if you're watching too, that short little clip, it just didn't have a lot of context in it, and I just want to make sure everybody is on the same page as far as me not literally making stuff up, but actually, in that video, I was using a recording of Junie from the KEF actually saying that, and so I assume that he's telling the truth. I don't know. I mean, maybe he's lying, and I will bring up. We'll do that first before we actually get started. Where is my internet? Hold on one second. There it is. So Shy is chimed in, of course, because he can't stay away for some reason, but he has chimed in to say, okay, let me be blunt about this. The chances that Binance approached the KEF are slim to none. JH, which is Junie, lied many times in the past. You shouldn't believe anything based solely on his word. And that's a good thing. You should hope he's lying. If he's telling the truth, that means even large exchanges view the KEF as representing KASPA, which is which is terrible news for KASPA. And I don't know, man. I don't know. The KEF is just a foundation that kind of helps with funding certain things for KASPA. They're not directly, correlated with the core team and everything. But obviously, Shy has had bad encounters with them in the past, and I don't know. I don't know what the deal is between them. I know there was a falling out, And this could be a scenario of him just hating him and just, talking bad about the KEF. Or it could be true, too. I don't know. Like, maybe this Junie guy does lie. I literally have no idea. But in the video I made, I was just repeating what he said. And so, either way wouldn't surprise me. Let's just put it that way. But I also, Shy doesn't like them for certain reasons and would have a motive to, talk trash about him. So, I don't know. But I wanted to address that as well, just to get that out of the way. But on a more positive note, Marcus asked, what time zone are you in? I am in Pacific time zone, West Coast, United States. Also, I don't live in Beverly Hills either. If any of you were trying to put two and two together. This is just a sweatshirt that I found in my closet that I don't even think I bought, but it's somehow in there. And I need to do laundry, so I don't have a lot of clean clothes. So this was the chosen sweatshirt for the day. Riley, welcome back. What's up, KD? Happy to tune in. Happy that you are here again, Riley. I appreciate it. Or Rayleigh. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Maybe I should just call you Way Way. Trader, what's going on? Whoosh, greetings from... Is that Switzerland? Switzerland, maybe? That's just a guess. Mr. Miles. Hello, Cassholes. Yeah, it's confirmed, Mr. Miles. That was good, by the way, Cassholes. It is confirmed, yeah, I live in Hollywood. I'm among the elites and the celebrities. Living in Hollywood. Using little children's blood to get younger and younger. I'm actually 76 years old. It works. Is 3 million KASPA going to make me rich? Well, crypto cash. 3 million KASPA is one hell of a big bag. And it depends on what you consider rich, I guess. Because everybody's got a different definition of that. That's funny. Dominic, hi from Denmark? Everybody's putting their flags up here, and I'm literally just throwing out random guesses. Germany, Denmark, I feel like, is probably with that flag. Probably Denmark. Let me know if I was right on the Switzerland. I'm part Swiss, by the way. I've never been there, but I would love to go snowboarding in Switzerland, in the Alps. That would be amazing. If I could ever get on an airplane to go there. Because for those of you who have listened to me long enough, you remember that I hate airplanes. Rumor has it that if you pay... Why are my comments behind me? Hold on a second. There it goes. Rumor has it if you pay attention, you can find Cat Daddy in the background of most major Hollywood films. That's a fact. I'm the most used backup guy in Hollywood video movies ever. That's my title. It's a tough living. Riley's from Ireland, huh? Okay. Well, let me get into a little bit of news here before we get sidetracked, even though we've already been sidetracked. We already looked at the post on X from Shy, but I want to show you a couple other things here. And one of them... Actually, let's just do this first. It's real quick. I know we all hate Binance now. But I want to show you this anyways because it's funny. Let me get this taken off the screen real quick. This to me was funny. Hold on a second. Come on, pause. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
What is that? It has some, I think it's Kyrgyz language. I took it back from Kyrgyzstan. He has a certificate. I got this from a very important person from Kyrgyzstan. Very recently, just completely by luck. So we take it out. It's pretty heavy. I'll put this down. You can see, like it says, Kyrgyzstan, 1,000 grams, fine gold, 99.9.9, and a serial number. Try it.
Yes. Yeah, it's heavy.
Is it real gold or no?
Well, I don't know. I mean, is this what you're trying to?
So,
He didn't even have a response. Could you guys hear that? It's quiet. Okay. I guess the sound doesn't necessarily matter that much. I don't know why it was so quiet. Volume's all the way up. But basically, he was trying to debate Peter Schiff, gold versus Bitcoin, and he pulls out a block of gold, a bar of gold, and basically asks him, "Is this real? Can you confirm that this is real?" And he says no, not without extra tools. Which is funny because Bitcoin is obviously on-chain confirmed the transaction immediately. Well, not immediately. It's like 10 minutes, but you know what I'm saying. The whole scenario is kind of funny. I thought. Okay, this is what I really want to talk to you guys about, though. So the XXIM podcast, some of you guys probably know who they are, but they just did an interview with KASPA intern, who his name is Angel Puente. He is an attorney at Lehman & Bush. It sounds like. He's a CAS advocate, and he discusses their ambitious $500 million institutional investment fund aimed at bringing KASPA to traditional finance. After years of navigating international law, cross-border investments, and the crypto compliance across China, Latin America, Europe, KASPA intern is now spearheading an initiative that could change everything for KASPA's institutional adoption, working with Lehman Bush, founded by Dr. Edward Lehman and Neil Bush. Interesting fact, I believe both related to both George Bushes. Family. Yeah, son and brother of former U.S. presidents. KASPA intern is opening Lehman Bush Capital, a C3 fund in Abu Dhabi's ADGM, with one exclusive mandate, a qualified investment fund holding KASPA as a treasury asset. So in this video, he basically breaks down what they're doing and why they're doing it and how they're doing it. But for those of you who don't know, also, I had to look up who Lehman Bush is. So it's a law firm that's been around for quite a while, and It was actually the law firm related to the Lehman Brothers, right? They were the biggest. I think it said they were the biggest bank, but they went bankrupt in 2008. For those of you guys who remember, and it started the financial crisis, and so they're related to that big ass bank, the Lehman Brothers. Lehman Bush, the law firm, who is still in business. Lehman Brothers, the bank, is, I don't believe in business unless they rebranded themselves into something else. But either way, like, they have pull and big names there, right? And they're related to U.S. presidents of past. You know, whether you like the Bushes or not, it doesn't matter. The connections are there. And I thought that was extremely interesting. And could be huge, right? It could be extremely huge. Yeah, nostalgic from 2008 for sure. But I thought that was extremely interesting. And I thought it was, extremely bullish, to be honest. Because when you've got players like this that are connected like this, that are trying to get KASPA into, the financial, system, and the kind of put it into institutional adoption's eyes and hands, I mean, I don't see any other way to look at that other than bullish. What do you guys think about that? Go watch their whole video too, by the way. I just gave a little summary, but the video is pretty interesting, and it'll give you a better idea of what actually is going on. XXIM. For those of you who don't know who they are, they do a bunch of interviews with pretty prominent people in the KASPA community, and they get a lot of insight from long-form interview with a lot of people. There's their little logo up top here, for those of you guys who don't know who they are. YouTube channel, XXIM podcast. Seem like good guys. Or good guy. I think it's just one guy. The face. But yeah, it's another scenario of how early we are. Because, I mean, KASPA, it's only been around for 4 years, and it hasn't been through like a true bull cycle yet. I know it had its run in the last bear market, but some coins do that, and then they still perform well in bull markets, right, when everything else is going up. And KASPA hasn't even experienced its first bull cycle yet, because altcoins have not had euphoria, parabolic rally, and alt season, true alt season, during KASPA's life yet. And so that's still to come at some point. I don't know if it's going to be this month. I don't know if it's going to be next year. I don't know if we're going to have to wait till 2029 or somewhere in between. But what I can tell you is we're going to have an alt season at some point again. And KASPA is going to do a lot of X's during that period of time. I fully agree, or fully believe that that's going to happen. We just got to be patient. Markets suck. Markets are boring. Markets are frustrating. Markets don't give us what we want when we want every single time. But those that are patient, those that have conviction, those that can wait it out, are the ones that are going to win. The 1%, they say. And the 1% are getting tested right now. But I know that you guys in this chat have been around and are still here, and you're going to win. It's just a matter of time. It sucks when things don't happen on the time frame that you want them to. But 99% of people sell in that scenario because they can't wait. And those are the people that are going to watch everything go way up without them at some point. Dad Journey. Hey, Kat, still hanging out here at work with green tea in hand. Glad to still be able to tune in weekly. I am glad that you are able to tune in weekly as well. Much appreciated. Jack, season greetings, Cat Dad. Where's the cozy Xmas backdrop? Enjoying the glass of cab, needing the tree and the fireplace. Well, so I figured that during these weekly live streams, we should be in the bar. Maybe what I'll do is we'll add a Christmas tree. Or maybe we'll just get a different bar setting during Christmas that's a little more cozy with a Christmas vibe. But yeah, all of the pre-recorded videos are going to have the Christmas background during the Christmas season, all the way through New Year's. But maybe next week, just maybe, see if we can add a little bit of Christmas theme into the live stream. It's quiet, really quiet. What's quiet? Oh, you're talking about the video I played. Sorry, I remember you saying that earlier. Yeah, I apologize about that video volume. We're early. Yes, we are. Extremely early. So, I was thinking, I know I told you guys that I might sell some altcoins if we don't see an alt season, or what I think is probably going to happen is a kind of just a dead cat bounce in December. I think Bitcoin might actually get back up around 100K. Everybody's going to think that this is it, and there's still a chance it could be. I just don't I don't think that we've got the macro setting for like a real altcoin season. I thought that was going to catch up if we go back a number of months, but it just never caught up. And so I think what's going to happen is I don't think the little bounce we just got a couple days ago is the real bounce that we're going to get. I think Bitcoin's probably going to go close to 100K, maybe even above it again. Just real quickly, altcoins will rally a little bit, but they're probably going to underperform still. And then we're going to wait until the macro settings are just better. Because all altcoin seasons have happened during quantitative easing, rate cuts being slammed down to almost zero, liquidity pouring into the market. We're getting stimulus checks in the U.S. again. It sounds like middle of next year. Like, that's the time frame where, and it doesn't need to start immediately, but once that all of that stuff goes into effect. That's usually when you see risk assets like altcoins start to run. And so I think at this point we're going to have to wait a little longer. But I don't know anymore if I'm going to sell anything, because I think even if we do get like the first half of next year as some sort of bear market, I don't think we're going to go down a ton more. And I don't know if it's enough or long enough to even worry about selling anything. I think I'm just going to accumulate. If crypto cash, if we do get some sort of bear cycle, which I think potentially might only be like 6 months in early 2026, we could easily see a 4-cent KASPA again. Because what I think is going to happen is Bitcoin's going to go down. If it's anything like 2019, Bitcoin probably only going to go down 50% from the highs, which is like $60,000 or something. So I think that would be roughly, roughly its bottom. It could be a little higher or lower. But altcoins, I think, will go down more than that. And if we look at, let me see if I can bring this up real quick. Why does that symbol never work? That's the KASPA chart. Hold on a second. Sorry, my microphone's in the way, so my hands are like reaching over it to type. That's why I'm typing slow. Not that I'm a fast typer to begin with, but it's hard to see over the microphone. Okay. Okay, that didn't work either. I don't know why it's not working. I don't want to waste time while we're on here trying to figure it out. But I think altcoins are still going to bottom against their Bitcoin pairs along that trend line that we've been looking at for a while, which is probably about a 60%. Actually, I don't know what it is right now, because for some reason, oh, that's why it's doing that. Hold on a second. I think it was trying to add a second screen there. I really hope I can pull this up. Yes. Okay. Let me pull this back up on the screen now. This chart right here. So that blue trend line on the bottom, again, this is being ridiculous. It's not allowing me to, it's allowing me to do it on that side. That's because this is too small. Okay. My internet. There we go. So that blue trend line down there is typically where altcoins bottom out against Bitcoin. And you can see we came somewhat close, but we never hit that trend line this cycle. And so I think if we do get that little, what I think is going to be kind of a more mild bear market, we're going to hit that trend line at some point, I think, during the first half of next year. And then we can go up from there. And that would kind of give us the green light for an alt season. Talk about nostalgic 2008. Yep. I wasn't really in the markets back then. I didn't really understand anything because I was a little bit younger and naive. But, I mean, I do remember it. I don't know how much I cared back then, to be honest. And yeah, what the chance of seeing 4 cents again, I think if the first within the first half of next year, I think there's a solid chance of it again. You know, unless we get like a bounce by altcoins in December, which doesn't look like it's going to happen. Well done for being honest. You got to do what you got to do. I sold a bit for an emergency too. I keep buying though. Yeah, I mean, if you guys need to sell a little bit, you can. Yeah, and we will probably see lower prices again too before we see higher prices. Unfortunately. Especially if you're in the profit, you know, taking some profits is never a bad thing. Bart is on. Finally caught a live stream. Welcome. Welcome in. There is that saying, no one's ever gone broke taking profits. You know, we want to accumulate as much as we can, but, you know, you also need to take profits too when you're up. And a lot of, you know, people say take profits along the way. Some people it's hard to do because you want to see top dollar before you just like take all profits at once so you can get squeeze the maximum amount out of it. But the problem is you're never going to hit the exact top. So if you take some profits along the way, there's nothing wrong with that. Even though a lot of us aren't even in profits anymore. Yugi, what do you think about KASPA Finance public sale and also their KASPA bridge? I haven't used their KASPA bridge. In full disclosure, I haven't really been playing around in the KASPA ecosystem at all. I've just been sitting on my bag right now. I'm actually kind of more excited for Egra Labs when it launches. Because the KII is going to be using their L2 for a while. I think they're creating their own too, but I don't think it's going to be ready. They're going to use Egra Labs at first at least. But but they just seem like it's a more hardy L2. So I'm excited about that. As far as the public sale, I don't even know anything about that. Wasn't KASPA Finance was that the X page? Or am I tripping? That like somebody was acting weird on? So I guess I don't have much of an opinion either way, unfortunately, at this point. Sorry. I appreciate the heart emoji, Burke. The question of a lifetime. When bull run? It's a good question. If you would have asked me months and months ago, I would have said it would be going on right now. Clearly, that's not happening. But like I explained earlier, I think the macro setting up to suit an altcoin season middle of next year with everything that's going on or planned to happen. Again, we still have like almost a 90% chance of a rate cut this month too, which I think we'll see a rally off of probably. Maybe that's when the fake out rally happens or starts. But even if everything's lining up for middle of next year, that doesn't mean you're going to get an altcoin season middle of next year. It'll probably be, well, I don't know exactly when it's going to be, but it'll be after that at some point. This is possible. I think Cass is going to run again when everything else dumps. It's possible. Usually that doesn't happen twice where they go against the market substantially, but it wouldn't surprise me if that did happen again. It would be nice too to finally get a relief in the KASPA price. Crypto Bake, I ain't taking profits down here. Neither am I. But, you know, there's people that are in situations where they might need to. But also, if you need to, that means you might have too much money in the markets anyway. More than you can afford to lose. $2026 will be the true alt season. It's possible. I would say if that's the case, it would be the end of 2026. Maybe we just get a Q4 2026 rally. To me, anything's on the table at this point, because if the 4-year cycle breaks, I know it's not a 4-year Bitcoin cycle. I know it's a 4-year macro cycle, but even in the traditional markets, all like since you can look back into like the 1920s on, or maybe even earlier, and you all macro liquidity cycles are roughly 4 years, with the occasional anomaly, right? And maybe we're in the occasional anomaly where it's 5 or 6 years this time. I don't know. But the one thing I can tell you is eventually something's going to happen in the positive, right? Whenever that's going to be. And again, for me, anything's on the table at this point. Because once you break the traditional 4 years, who the hell knows exactly when things are going to happen? But again, the traditional the people in charge like to throw curveballs as well, because I would imagine there was too many people like myself that were saying it's in the bag, Q4 2025. That's when we're going to get rich. And they're like, nope, that's not when you're going to get rich. You don't know nothing, which is true. And so they're throwing us a curveball, and we just have to react, is all it is. Whether it's another year, whether it's another few months, whether it's another 4 years, or anywhere in between. If you just chill and accumulate until we get an alt season, you'll be just fine. Riley, can we please learn from Christian Ludwig's mistake? I think you're commenting on the inner conversation that's going on there about taking a loan out on your crypto, which is risky, by the way. We are so early. We are early. Mike Tran. I'm a Bitcoin maximalist, but I have officially converted all of my BTC to KASPA now. Welcome to the KASPA community. I actually made a video a few days back that stated, like, there's a scenario where KASPA is actually less risky at this point, long term, if you look at it from a certain, certain view, a certain window. I still own a little bit of Bitcoin, but I'm gonna get a little bit more scared. Like, I think if you hold Bitcoin for next cycle, you're probably fine. There's gonna be a point where, if the devs don't do something to address the whole fee structure, the miners are gonna drop off at some point. I don't see another scenario, and it doesn't seem like anyone's working on it either. And I could be wrong, because I'm not like balls deep in the Bitcoin community, but if anybody is, let me know. But it seems like they're just like, oh, it's way out in the future. We don't need to worry about that now, but you should worry about it now, because Bitcoin does not scale. And you need some smart-ass people to come in there and figure out how to scale it. You know who that smart-ass person was that they just kicked to the curb? Jonathan Sompolinsky. KASPA was born. He had a plan to scale Bitcoin and figure all of that shit out. And on 2 different occasions at Bitcoin conferences, They said, nope, sorry, we don't like that idea. And therefore, out of the rubble, KASPA was born. That's why I have so much conviction in KASPA. Jonathan is an OG. He's been around. Very respected. He knows what the hell he's doing. And I think in time, we are all going to see that he knows what the hell he's doing. Even if we believe it now, we're going to have more conviction 10 years from now. Because they know the issues that are going to arise, and they're working on them now. KASPA is. And it's a much easier process to work that out on KASPA because it's scalable and the fees are cheap. The only thing that could hold KASPA back, the only thing, is adoption. And I think I'm seeing the adoption grow right in front of my eyes. I've been in KASPA since 2022, like early 2022, maybe even late 2021. I don't remember exactly when I heard about it, but it was like damn near inception. And I've seen it grow massively since then in a window, very short period of time in the scheme of things. Just imagine, if that keeps doubling and doubling every 4 years of adoption, probably gets more than double every 4 years. Because it's just been around longer. And another thing too, if it can make it through this inevitably at some point coming bear market and rise from the ashes and put in new highs next cycle, then it's going to gain a little bit more stability, gain a little bit more respect, gain a little bit more conviction from people who might have been a little scared or weary at first. The longer it stays around and stays relevant, the stronger it's going to get. The roots are going to grow deeper. And the bigger the tree gets, you can't push over a tree when the roots get too big. It's impossible. It's too strong at that point. It's too tall, it's too wide. And that's exactly what this ground roots adoption is doing right before our eyes. At Mike, LFG, welcome to the endgame, brother. You know what's crazy is, I know technology can move super fast, right? And things can go obsolete pretty quickly. But what if we're looking back 15 years from now, and KASPA is literally the endgame? It's like fully adopted. I just feel like that would be like a really good feeling. I also think it is possible. Obviously, or I wouldn't be investing a lot of money into KASPA. Because there's a chance too, 15 years from now, where Bitcoin hasn't solved its problem that's been known about for years now, because they're too dumb and stupid. It's funny because there's obviously a lot of smart people in Bitcoin. It is the OG, and I like Bitcoin. But a lot of these new people that are coming in, they have no clue what the hell they're doing. It's just the in thing to do. It's the cool thing to do, and their friends are buying it. Institutions are buying it. They don't understand the underlying technology of it. And so they just think it's going to be around forever if people keep buying it. But the transaction fees are going to be in like the double-digit thousands at some point. And maybe some people are willing to pay that if Bitcoin's price is high enough. But like, it's not going to be for the average person. It's almost already not for the average person. But if you have to pay like $10K for a transaction fee to send a transaction, and then it still takes 30 minutes to go from one place to another, like, that's not desirable for the average person, especially 15 years from now. Think about how quickly AI came into the mainstream. I remember 4 years back where AI was just coming out, and it moved fast in a 3-year span. Like 15 years from now, people aren't going to be waiting 30 minutes for a transaction in the Web3 world. They're going to go to something that's faster and cheaper, I think. And if you just don't have enough transactions being transacted on Bitcoin, then you're going to run into a problem. The miners are not going to be sufficed. They're going to stop mining. They're going to turn their miners off. And then the security just starts plummeting downward with the price. And I hope that doesn't happen, but smart people look out into the future like that and envision what could happen and identify the problems that could arise and invest accordingly. And to me, KASPA is the only thing out there that has the same principles as Bitcoin, but is able to be scaled and transacted for cheap. I think at some point, if that does happen, I don't know if KASPA would be the only project that people would run to, but it's definitely going to be one of them, I think. Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin, like those are just boring as hell, in my opinion. And they still have, some of the same problems Bitcoin does. So, I mean, logically, unless there's some crazy new, technology that's born out of Web3 that is not KASPA in the next 15 years, but if KASPA keeps updating, and following their roadmap, I don't think anything can catch it because of the things that they're planning on doing. They're going to be so far and above anything. Jonathan is, in my opinion, the smartest guy in crypto, and it's not even close, technology-wise. So that's just my opinion and my little rant. But like, if you're not looking into the future and you're not asking yourself these questions, you're doing yourself a disfavor. Because what if you're still holding your Bitcoin maxi, you don't understand the underlying technology, you don't understand that there is a problem that might arise, and you're just blindly holding into 15 years down the road, nothing's been fixed. Miners, you see them start to fall off slowly, you start to see the price drop. Everyone's going to say, oh, it's just a bear market. What if it's not at some point? What if it just collapses? And you need to have a hedge, right? You can still own some Bitcoin, right? Because there's a chance that never happens, obviously. But you need to have a plan B, just in case. And my plan B is KASPA. Because I believe that it has what it takes, especially with the upgrades that they're planning on doing. It's going to be like lightning speed, internet speed. I just see a very bright future. I think Sopolinsky's long-term plan is to somehow merge BTC and CAS. Well, that's what he literally already tried to do that in the early days, and maybe nowadays people would be more, well, I don't know, man. They're hard-headed. They live in a box and they can't see outside the box, these maxis. But that's literally what he tried to do back in like 2011 or 12. That's why KASPA wasn't. That's why it was born. He tried to merge this technology that we see with KASPA into Bitcoin's code, and he was rejected twice. And so maybe he still wants to do that, but are they going to allow him to? Because it's a community, I think community vote or something, to like integrate new technology into Bitcoin. And I don't know, maybe at some point that is the solution. I have no idea. But then I don't know, like, are the KASPA coins the ones that you want? Are the Bitcoins still the ones that you want? I don't know how that would work. Do they both have value somehow? Doesn't matter. Mike, I believe KASPA will be top 5, and that's good enough for me. KASPA doesn't need to replace BTC. Yeah, I don't know that it's going to replace it. I agree with you that it's probably going to be top 5 at some point, and I think it's going to, plant itself in the top 5. But I just see a scenario that I hope does not happen, but it's hard not to see. At some point, Bitcoin just it's more a matter of the hard-headed devs and the like blindness that they have, and that maxi community. That's the real issue there, because Bitcoin could have already have solved that issue. Yonatan had the plan, and they rejected it. And so all I'm saying is it's good to have a plan B just in case, because of, looking out into the future, what might happen. Somebody said, too, in the comment section once that, I can't remember who it was, but that when the time comes, they're just going to pay a very smart person a lot of money to fix it at the last second, which is also possible. What if that smart person is Yonatan? Yeah, the CAS oracles potentially being better than Chainlink is hopium I needed. Yeah, I don't know if Chainlink, like, technology-wise is, like, far superior to other oracles, because I haven't really dove into that. I don't know if all oracles are, like, similar. Chainlink is just the top dog because it's been adopted by all these projects, or if there's, like, something about it that's, like, substantially better than most oracles. I don't know. Chainlink's like boring to me though. I invested into it last cycle a little bit, but it's boring to me. But yeah, it'll be interesting once. I would imagine that KASPA oracles, are they going to have like a native oracle? Or is it going to be like a project built on an L2, kind of like Chainlink is on Ethereum? Just using the KASPA technology, obviously. I watched the debate between Peter and CZ. Peter Schiff is not mentioning the flaw of Bitcoin. What a pathetic guy. Yeah, he could he could win some arguments actually if he brought up the fee structure issue that's lingering in the future. Or at least he'd have a better argument. But again, he probably doesn't understand the technology either. You look pale, Katie. Hope you're feeling okay. I'm feeling fine. I think it's just the lights are brighter for some reason. Maybe they got turned on brighter. I'm actually an alien, just like that previous comment with the emoji. Right, I live in Beverly Hills. And I'm in every single Hollywood movie as a background actor. So clearly I've got to be some sort of lizard or alien. Sucking the blood out of children to look younger. Remember, I told you I'm 76. Not actually sucking it out, but on an IV drip. Like these weirdos, I think, do. The rich weirdos. Okay. So, before I go, I'm going to address this. I know this is an in conversation between you guys. I don't know that I know the complete context. But, since BlockFi and Celsius were mentioned, then I'm going to add my 2 cents. I've been looking into it, and I like the idea, except I have one major concern. If the lender goes bankrupt, I lose my KASPA. Think back to BlockFi and Celsius. So, you've got to be extremely careful. I don't know exactly what you guys were talking about as far as lending the KASPA, or where you were talking about. But I fell victim to Celsius last cycle. I was getting like 6% on my Ethereum and my Bitcoin. And it was awesome. But during the bull market, nobody was thinking about what could possibly happen. And as soon as the market started to turn just a little bit, there was rumblings that Celsius was... Oh, I'm sorry, BlockFi was first. No. Celsius was first, I'm sorry. Because there was rumblings that Celsius was bankrupt. And the founder, I can't remember his name now, but he was in the public's eye a lot. He seemed like a really good dude. We're a bank for the people. We want to give people yield and, real money's devaluing. Oh, he said all the right things. And so he was on a lot of big YouTube channels too, doing interviews. And what ended up happening is a lot of times when you're lending your money to somebody, they take that money and then they go degen with it to try and get more yield back and make money themselves with your money. And what happens when the market turns sour, they are losing more money than they're making. And in order to pay themselves off, they use everybody else's money that's been lended to them to pay it off. And then they're bankrupt. They have no money to give back to their users. And so they file for bankruptcy and they halt withdrawals from their platforms, and then you're basically fucked because you can't get your money off of there. And I saw it happen with Celsius. Luckily, the majority of my crypto was on BlockFi, but when Celsius went bankrupt, I was not able to get my money off of there. But knowing that BlockFi was the exact same business model, I immediately, because they were still allowing withdrawed all my money out of BlockFi and into a cold storage wallet. And at that point, it was probably 1 or 2 months later, BlockFi did the exact same thing. It went under, it went bankrupt, and I've gotten a little bit of money back from Celsius, not even close to what I had in the account, so it's not worth it. I learned my lesson, and I don't lend any of my crypto out to anybody for yield. If you wanted to do something like that, make sure it is a smaller percentage of what you hold, that if it did go under, it did go bankrupt, whatever platform you're using, the lender, like in this comment, goes bankrupt, then if you lost all of your money, then you could still sleep at night. And also, with any scenario like that, always pay attention and follow their social media accounts. Be in the weeds with what they're doing so that at any inkling of a red flag, pull your money out immediately. Would be my recommendation there. But just be careful, especially for those of you who have not been around for past cycles. When things heat up, everything seems like it's just, the glory days, and everything works, and everyone is truthful and honest, and you can trust them. Money's growing everywhere, but it doesn't last forever. Anything that seems too good to be true is usually too good to be true. Because where are they getting that yield from to pay you, right? Think about that. Where are they getting it from? They're lending your crypto out into more degen plays and then hopefully earning enough to pay you the yield on it and earn some for themselves. That doesn't last forever. It's usually risky plays that aren't going to be around. No project is just going to hand you 6% interest for holding your crypto. There's obviously something behind the scenes that they're doing that's probably risky in order for them to be able to pay you 6% yield or more. Some of these DeFi projects pay like crazy yields, and you just got to wonder where they're getting that from. Yeah, Mr. Miles, Celsius was first and then Voyager and BlockFi. I know Celsius was first because I got my money stuck in there and then immediately took it off of BlockFi before they went under. Thank God, or I would have been screwed. Literally all of my crypto, the vast majority of it, was sitting on BlockFi earning 6% yield. And if I would have lost that, God knows where I would be today. Jesus. I couldn't even think about the scenario. And some people lost everything. That's just the way it happens. FTX was the same way. Trusted exchange. I don't know why it was trusted, because it popped up out of nowhere, and it wasn't even around very long. But like they were paying celebrities to promote it, and FTX was in with Solana, and so like everybody's like, oh, this is great. Very trustful exchange, big. They've got their money backed up, and all of our funds are safe. And Mark Wahlberg is promoting it, so obviously, I don't think it was Mark Wahlberg. Who was the guy? The Bourne Identity. Matt Damon. Matt Damon was promoting it, so it's got to be trustful, and they've got to be doing the right thing, right? No, not always the case. You just got to be careful. King, I lost a lot in Celsius and BlockFi. When Celsius went under, I saw SBF was backing up BlockFi, so I left my funds there, thinking the coins were safe. Cold storage only for me now. Yep, and that's exactly what I just said. For some reason, SBF and FTX, the exchange, for some reason, they got this reputation that they were super truthful and respected and safe, right? And a lot of people fell under that spell. and we saw what happened. It only takes one time for somebody to get absolutely screwed before their trust is completely gone with any sort of platform like that or exchange. And hopefully those of you listening to this that were not here last cycle, at least think about what we're saying here, because it's real, 100% real. People lost their life savings. There was I was hearing after FTX went down that people were committing suicide because they literally lost their life savings and they didn't know what they were going to do with themselves. Hundreds of millions of dollars just gone. There was news reports of people committing suicide because they lost so much money. And SBF was like, oh, yeah. Hiding out in the Bahamas or Cayman Islands or wherever the hell he was. I remember BitBoy. God. That whole fiasco was just ridiculous. Anybody who was there during that time knows what I'm talking about. Jesus. That whole scenario was just absolutely crazy. Last bull run was crazy. And it lasted forever. I think starting in the middle of 2026, I think we're going to have a bull run. We're not going to pick up immediately, but that's when everything starts to that's when everything starts to loosen up for risk assets. I think we're going to see, since we are potentially not getting an alt season this cycle, I think we're going to see an extended, kind of like 2020, 2021 alt season where it lasts longer than a couple months this next cycle. I'm obviously just guessing, but just be careful out there, guys. Interesting concept, but I trust the liquidity in KASPA. Well, it depends on where you're putting your liquidity, because think about this. KASPA is KASPA, right? But anybody can build on an L2 in KASPA. Anybody can create their own project. And so what you're doing at that point, KASPA is fully decentralized, so anybody's welcome to come and build. What you're doing is you're trusting that project and the person or people, team behind the project that's building on KASPA, right? And so you need to look into who that is, who they are, and find out, because you could say somebody could say oh, I trust Ethereum because it's been around and it's been it's been safe and secure, right, for a lot of years now. But you have a meme coin that pops up, right? Let's just call it, well, I don't even know the name of it. Let's just say some random meme coin that is allowing you to put some Ethereum inside this project to earn yield. You're trusting the person who created that project on top of Ethereum, not necessarily Ethereum itself. And so that's what you got to be careful with. Even though, the base layer is KASPA, the project that's building on top of KASPA, could be honest, but they might not be either. So that's where you got to be careful. Because I trust, KASPA liquidity too, but the problem is, do you trust the entity behind the project that you're entering that liquidity into? I think it still might be the safest just to sell 1% of my bag and then double down on rebuilding the bag. You could. It might play out very well for you, especially if we get a bearish sentiment the first half of next year, because the price will go down, and then you could like double or triple your bag maybe. But there's also the case where that doesn't happen too. That's where I'm always scared about, because I know as soon as I sell 1%, thinking I'm going to double or triple up a few months later, that's when the price is going to rip. And I'll be like, God dang it. I held for so long and I tried to outsmart myself. It's just my luck. Alright, guys. Anyways, I'm going to take off for the day. I appreciate everybody for hanging out. Good conversation. Make sure that you guys pay your bar tabs before you leave today. I didn't realize I had this on the screen the whole time, so you can't see the cool bar setting behind me. Make sure you pay your bar tabs, like the video, and subscribe to the channel, because at 10K subs, we are giving away 10K KASPA. I know most of you know that already. Most of you are subscribed, but I know there's a few of you in here lingering around that have not hit that subscribe button. It's free. I don't ask for any money. So, and you have a chance to win 10,000 KASPA whenever we get up to that 10K mark in subscribers. So, I appreciate everybody for being here. I will see you next week. Hopefully I will get in a couple videos during the middle of this next week before Friday. But if not, then I will definitely see you next Friday at the same time. So continue to pack your damn bags before it's too late. See you in the next video. Peace out.